nobody's ever won,
right,
and gave them amazing experiences, especially his home record. I mean, all they did was win, and they showed up at Vaught Hemingway for the last 3 years and won and won and won and won. And you know, everybody was there. Everybody was happy. When you're winning, everything takes care of itself. The food's better. The drinks are better. Your parking spot's better. Your tailgate's better. Even though it's 115 degrees, you don't care. All of that. But it's like we want to hear about the Lane stuff. It's weird. You want to, but you don't.
Right.
And you think Pete's getting tired of the question?
Pete does not feel the way what you just described. He's done with it.
Yeah. So Jake from Yazoo says, I wish Pete had said that's a dumb question. He can't quite do that yet.
No,
because he can't alienate the local media.
Right.
Whether it's Oxford, Starkville, whatever. Without being a proven coach yet, look, the Georgia win was great. But this is where it all resets and gets real. And you've got your schedule's 3-4 times harder this year than it has been. Remember, Bartu came on and said Kiffin had pulled the best possible schedule over a 4-year stretch that Ole Miss has had in modern times. Kiffin took advantage of that.
Right.
Now Pete walks in with an extra conference game and a difficult non-con game against Louisville on a neutral field. Not playing Washington State at home, who's more Troy than P4.
Right.
All right. I should have said it's more, I need to, more Wofford
there you go.
than P4. I don't want to take, Troy's actually
that's right.
had really good TJ will get mad at me. One.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he played there.
He's a Troy guy.
2, Troy has beat a lot of teams, and they have good athletes that go through there.
I mean, if you look at his mannerisms, though, he's turning red.
I think he's done with that.
He's over it.
Yeah.
But he's the coach at Ole Miss, right?
Yes, but the shadow, I mean, so is Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. But people want to talk about Saban. Dude, here's the problem. Here's the challenge for Pete. Even with the Georgia win, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Even with the Georgia win, it's Lane's world. Pete's living in it.
I'm with that. But
Trinidad is Lane's. Lacey is Lane's.
That's true.
The program is Lane. The culture is Lane. The model is Lane. The NIL is Lane.
Point. So when they...
that's not a shot at Pete.
No.
It's just it's life.
Yeah.
Also, Pete's making $6.5 to $7 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel sorry for Pete. We're not taking a shot at Deer Camp Pete. I mean, we got Fire Pit Jeff. I mean, we got Fire Pit Levy and Deer Camp Pete and Alice Beach Lane. This triangle. Now, Kalen is so boring. I don't even know what to do. What's a boring? That's like taking me to Ruby Tuesdays.
Okay.
Kalen DeBoer is Ruby Tuesdays. Not in 1991 when it was actually fun and everybody was hot and bothered about it. Okay? I'm talking about today.
Okay. I like that. Pete's over it. This is the media's fault. Eventually he's going to get upset.
No. Well, he may just be he may have a little bark back.
Yeah. But
I don't think it's going to be anything.
He's not going to take the
Here's the thing though. He talks so fast. I mean, he's because he's got Jimbo Fisher in him. Look, let me drop this.
We ain't going nowhere. Clown acts. It's really despicable.
Right. All right. Will you go back to the Golding that we played earlier? All right. They asked Pete Golding about whether or not he pays attention to social media, and this is what he had to say.
I have to ask. I'm sorry. Do you pay attention to stuff that happens on X that gets where you get mentioned by certain people?
I really don't. I mean, obviously, I've got kids, right? And we've got people that work here and all that do all that. So things get brought up or somebody will send me a text message. And so you definitely see certain things. But, I'm not good enough at this job to be on that all damn day and do this job. I don't know how they do it. More power to them. I'll learn one day. But there's enough things in the building that I need to do and do at a high level. But, yeah, I definitely see some of it based on what gets sent to me. Where are you going with that?
I was just curious. Your golf game was mentioned.
That's good.
A guy named Slice Bread.
All right, so there's some auctioneer Jimbo Fisher in there with Pete Golding.
No doubt.
Pete, and look, he's a good soundbite. Pete's a good. We need good sound bites. Lane is, Levy, not really, right?
No. I just want to let you know the first comment on this page is we're looking at LSU's new DC after Blake takes a head coaching job.
Oh, no.
Talking about Pete.
Where is that?
That's on Twitter's.
Oh, that's on the Twitters?
Yeah, that's first comment.
Oh, on this whole back and forth?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. Baker, for our listeners, Blaine Baker almost took the Tulane job.
Right.
He was offered the Tulane job.
Right. Whoa, he was all, I didn't know that.
And
nice.
Blake Baker. I think they made him a $3 million a year defensive coordinator.
Dang.
In Baker. And he retained his assistants. Nice. And Lane wanted all that. I think Lane sees that if they're going to win big in 2026, they're going to win big on defense.
Yeah.
Now, Ole Miss won big on defense last year. Yep. I mean, that's what they did. They won big. Yes, their offense was opportunistic. Yes, Trinidad was fun to watch. Yes, Lacey was fun to watch. They won on defense.
Right.
And obviously they found a running game again 2 years ago when they didn't realize all their hopes and dreams when, again, Ole Miss fans argued that he didn't play the right running back throughout the season, but they didn't have the rushing game last year with Lacey and Trinidad. They had the rushing game to complement Golding's defense, and that's why they won.
Yep. Yeah.
We think that Lane scores 38 a game, and he doesn't. If you want to look at the Arkansas game, the Kentucky game, the Florida game, the some other games, then you'll see that it came down to Pete getting stops.
Yeah.
And Cam Franklin and those guys, Daughtery and absolute dudes. They were nasty at all three levels on the defensive side of the football and good on offense. And then Lane was brilliant at times play calling. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're powered by the Calamari. It tastes Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance. man.
We ain't going nowhere.
Good morning. Out of bounds, 1059 The Zone, ESPN. This is what Pete Golding's saying.
We ain't going nowhere.
That's right. Well, with Trinidad and Lacey and defensive linemen, you are going to have a good year. Now, will you have a great year? We'll see. Probably a reach.
We ain't going nowhere.
Well, it depends on who. Everybody defines,
Yeah.
8 to 9 wins. If it drops to 7, they'll be devastated and disappointed. But if he gets to 9, he's had Coach of the Year type year. I'm talking about Pete Golding at Ole Miss. If they win 8, that's still a good year. But when you're coming off 11-1 and 2 playoff wins,
Sure.
it's just hard to reset for anybody, not just Ole Miss.
Right.
It's really, really hard. As fans, we don't reset. We think, oh, well, we went X, that means we'll be better. We'll even always add a win. We'll always be ascending when nothing could be further from the truth. Right.
Reset would require, taking a step back and evaluating things. We ain't doing that.
No
evaluation.
No, you just lost a top 3 coach in America. Now, again, you've got a super healthy look. It's even healthier than what Lane inherited from Matt Luke.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Like more so. And that's the one thing about Ole Miss is for the most part, they're always going to make sure that they have players.
Yeah.
And even though it's a different day and a different era, Luke left Lane a ton of talent, and Lane left Pete a ton of talent.
Yeah. And a starting quarterback.
Right. And the best quarterback in the SEC. And we'll see what John David Baker, Ole Miss offensive coordinator, who wouldn't be considered a top 50 offensive coordinator in the country, just like Jeff Lebby wouldn't be.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean that you can't move up.
That's right.
I mean, let's say they're both around 60 ranked, okay, out of 130 teams.
Cool.
Okay, so that means you're not bad. You're not good. You're kind of in the solid range, okay? But when you go from a top 5 play caller on the offensive side of the football to someone who's not in the top 50, now Trinidad and Lacey can mask, and especially the interior line. We'll see what Ole Miss does at the tackles. But we got and a tougher schedule. When you mix that up, you tell me what gumbo or crawfish etouffee you have.
I heard they weren't going to skip a beat.
Well, of course. And I've got Ole Miss fans on the text line that tell me that. And then I've got Ole Miss fans that I know that I talk to that are good friends of mine. They're like, that are fully aware of what they lost.
Right.
And the fact that you're not just going to, continue to do this.
You just roll it out there and it happened again.
Right. But again, this is best possible. This is best case scenario for Pete Golding because of what Lane put in place for 6 years. And especially the QB running back duo.
I mean, yeah, the foundation.
Because that can bail you when you're making mistakes between the headsets. Good to great players can bail you out. I mean, Nick Fitzgerald bailed out Joe Moorhead 47 times over the course of that year.
Yeah.
And Joe was determined not to use and leverage Fitz's talent. And yet Fitz would bail him out on, one of the dumbest offensive approaches I've ever seen in the history of college football.
He didn't have Fitz.
If he hadn't have had Fitz.
He's run quick.
Yeah. Well, he's already run quick.
Right,
he was run after 2 years.
It's only 2. Okay, yeah, I thought it was 3. Dang.
Yeah, he was already run quick. If he hadn't have had Nick Fitzgerald, the leading rusher in the history of SEC football at the quarterback position. When think about all the runners, all the guys who can move and wiggle. Nick Fitzgerald is the QB1 leading rusher in the Southeastern. He didn't play at Florida, Georgia, LSU, or Bama. If you'd have put Fitz at Bama that year, curtains. Over 6'5", 230 pounds, and can outrun DBs and free safeties.
Right.
It's over. And put him with Alabama defense that stops people 4 out of every 5 times. So you're not. And I know Nick had a phenomenal defense that last year. I get that.
Did, yeah.
But y'all know what I'm saying as far as if he'd have had, Georgia talent around him, Bama talent, or LSU talent, title. It'd be title fits.
I would love to hear, like when
Can you imagine if you dropped Trinidad at LSU this year? Same thing.
Yeah. I think
Sam Levitt will be good. I know he's having surgery.
Yeah.
It sounds like things are going to be fine. We all know about surgery today and rehab and guys getting back in 3, 5, 7 months on damn near their limbs falling off. But anyway, back to, Fitz with phenomenal talent because he was already good.
Yes.
He was good at a top 25 to 27 recruiter.
Right.
Can you imagine if he would have been with the number 1, 3, or 5 recruiter with Bama, LSU, or Georgia?
And my man Moorhead came in and they told him all that, and he was like, "Nah, we're going to use somebody else."
Well, he just said, "I don't want to." His quote, and I know a coach who was in the building. His quote was, "I don't want to win this way."
That's incredible.
It really is.
How does that even come out of your mouth?
Well, when you never should have been hired for the job, and we're experiencing this again. When you never should have been hired for the job, you've got to be able to run a massive. I don't think people really understand who cheer at Vaught Hemingway and Davis Wade. The massive organization of running all the drama, first of all, but you're talking about 150 people with egos out the roof. You've got players with egos, parents with egos, and assistant coaches that are always headhunting and looking for jobs, and all the different sandboxes that are in that building, and everybody that wants this, that, and the other. And you got to be the driving force towards at the end of the game when the clock hits triple zeros to score more points than your opponent.
I'll take being a DC over that.
That's why some people look at it and go, you know what? I'll make $2 to $3 million a year as the EVP in a football program, and I'm not going to have to go through as much. It's painful, but I don't have to go through as much chaos and pain as the head. Like Golding is now learning and will continue to learn about all the chaos and pain that consumes you as the head football coach of an SEC program. And everything that you have, like he had a lot on his plate as defensive coordinator. Now he's got 5 times that.
Right. Oh.
That's why most of these guys can't do it.
Right. That's why you want a coach with head
I mean, look,
experience.
Ryan Silverfield at Arkansas, Will Stein at Kentucky, Alex Golish at Auburn, John Summerall at Florida. One may make it. One may make it. I mean, if you want to count Nuke, Lane at LSU.
Sure.
One may make it. So,
that's crazy.
I
mean, if you feel better if they had head coaching experience, right?
Yeah. Which Ron Silverfield does.
That's right, yeah.
Alex Golish does, and John Summerall does. And Lane
did.
Kiffin does. Will Stein does not, but he had 4 years as an offensive coordinator.
Oh, that's a track.
Compared to...
Better than 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
2
so
subpar years at that. Let's go.
All right. The Out of Bounds Show is driven by your next GMC Sierra truck. And GMC Yukon, you can get the Denali package. Fowler, GMC, Pearl Brandon. Go see my guys today. FOWLER. FowlerGMC.com. Pearl Brandon. Oh, man. Good morning to you. Hey. We are the Out of Bounds Show. Shout out to Rick's Pro Truck. Spraying bed liners and lift kits, baby. Tires and wheels, powered by RPT, Rick's Pro Truck. Trucks live here, Gluckstadt, Madison. And Flowwood, RPT, and RPT Commercial in Pearl. Go see Big Mike at RPT in Pearl. It's diagonal across from Muskelly Furniture. We're 105.9 The Zone ESPN. We are the Out of Bounds Show. And speaking of Jake Mangum last night, absolutely throwing a missile, a dart from left field and throwing that guy out. Even the Pittsburgh announcers couldn't believe it, and they're homers, which that's okay. Jake Mangum comes up with that baseball. And this is brought to you by Grit Fitness and Training, Flowwood, Lakeland Drive behind Ergon, where he trains in the offseason. And so does Connor Griffin. Grit. He fields that ball. He's got about 0.2 seconds to get it out of his glove to nail the guy at the plate, and he does it. It's going to be one of the even now, and I've said this, MLB makes amazing plays night in, night out. Those guys are freaks. It will be one of the top 10 plays.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Because he had no business getting a guy with, according to the announcers,
Abrams.
plus speed.
Yes, Abrams can fly.
And when the dude hit third, when he cuts down the third baseline, I'm going, holy moly.
He can fly.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And Jake Mangum said, not tonight. Brought to you by Grit Fitness and Training. Where did Connor Griffin and Jake Mangum and JT Ginn work out? Grit. Fitness and Training. Jay Powell is the director of baseball operations at Grit. Mandy and the crew do a great – so they offer monthly memberships. So it's not just baseball training and softball training. It's for you and me. And if your kids are going through there and taking BP and pitching in off the mounds or doing the indoor-outdoor turf, whatever they're doing with their team or individually, you can knock out a 30 to 60-minute workout. They've totally renovated. They offer all kinds of classes. The Out of Bounds Show is powered by Grit Fitness and Training, and Jake Mangum, absolutely on fire.
Host
last night.
That is an impressive play.
You stopped a run.
When
you stop a run in baseball,
top 8, 2 outs.
That's big time.
Come on.
And kudos to Connor Griffin too.
Yes.
Again, our conversations around Connor and Jake are powered by Grit Fitness and Training Facility on Lakeland Drive, Flowwood behind Ergon. And they've renovated it. They're offering all kinds of fun classes, monthly memberships. Your son or daughter may want to train there. I would. When I say that Jake Mangum, Tanner Allen, JT Ginn, and Connor Griffin train there, I'm in.
Yeah.
Indoor turf, outdoor turf, brand new batting cages, indoor pitching mounds. Out, you got it all. Yeah. And when you, especially if your kids aren't driving yet, they're over there training. You knock out a workout.
Don't they? You surround yourself with the people that you want to.
My man Tally from Big Ten Tires works out there.
Well,
he keeps winning our. Yeah. I still owe him money, but I'm not on Venmo. I'm only on PayPal.
Yeah.
I'll have to write him a check. He'll love that. People love taking a check to a bank this day and age. I don't either. Wendy takes a picture of them or whatever you do.
Yeah, mobile deposit.
Okay, yeah. I don't know how to do that either. But thank God she does it. Her and Ella Hall, I don't know what I do. I've never ordered anything off Amazon. And whenever I need DoorDash, I just text them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw that.
They take care of me.
Yeah.
I take care of them too.
That's right.
So
give and take.
It's a partnership. Right?
That's what they say.
When I'm traveling and I'm hungry and I'm on an interstate.
Right.
And I see a Chick-fil-A.
Boom.
I just text them, and this is amazing. When I get to that Chick-fil-A, it's ready.
Yep. I mean, it's just.
I can't do that.
Though. It's responsible of you.
I know.
You're just looking out for the people, man.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to be on your phone that much while you're driving.
No,
get them to do it.
I want to be listening to a show or music.
Yeah, I was gonna say watching the road, but we can go with that.
Yeah, no, listening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Listening. My phone's down in my console.
Wait, can you listen to a movie? Are you one of those?
No, I can't do that. I got to watch it.
I hate that.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm going to listen to a movie.
Oh,
that's absurd.
Can't stand it.
Yeah,
people do it. I guess people with kids, maybe the soundtrack. Yeah, you spin that thing and let the kids get all active in the back.
Chris Malloy will join us, Ole Miss golf coach at 9:30 today. Looking forward to having Malloy on the show. He's been super successful. Good guy. He loves football. Good friends with Pete. And he coached Brooks Koepka at Florida State. And he's joined us at Finch and Kelly in Oxford. And Malloy's just a good dude.
It's such a good interview.
Yeah, he was great. So we'll hang out with Malloy at 9:30 on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. I wasn't sure who I wanted today, but we've got so much audio. I thought I'm not going to do a guest. I was kind of guested out. And then my buddy Dole was texting me from Chicago this morning, listening to the show, and he mentioned Malloy. And I said, hey, we got to get Malloy on. It's golf. He can give us a couple of nuggets on the Masters. I mean, he's coached Brooks Koepka, among other people.
Yeah.
All-Americans at Ole Miss. And
he's a defending champ.
Are they the national champs?
2025.
Okay. Holy Mary Olzab. The power of out of bounds.
He was coach of the individual winner, Michael Sasso.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Malloy has coached 4 All-Americans, 4 first-team All-SEC, and 4 SEC All-Freshman golfers in his time at Oxford alone.
He's a recruiting machine. Okay. So Chris Malloy, Ole Miss golf coach at 9:30.
Wow.
Brought to you by, let's just say, an ice cold Tito's Martini.
There we go.
With 3 olives in honor of Dale Murphy. Okay. At whatever your favorite spot is in Oxford, whether it's the Grocery Bouret or Proud Larry's or whatever. How about that? An ice, late this afternoon, 5 o'clock, an ice cold. And as Steve Azar says, how many times I've been at a restaurant with Azar, and he's like me when I'm talking about like sauce on the side. He's like, it's got to be, it's got to be ice cold. Because there's no point in making a martini if it's not going to be. Yeah, it's got to have the ice flakes in it.
Yeah.
Little crystal.
I hate the room temp.
Okay. Ugh. And then 3 olives in honor of the greatest American living currently in Dale Murphy. I'm going to have to go put on my Braves hat after saying that.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's what we'll dedicate the interview to. An ice cold Tito's Martini, straight up, no vermouth. 3 olives.
Yeah.
If you want a little olive juice, it's got to be 10% of a splash. I mean, it just can't. The problem is when you say you want it dirty, they go overboard. I need to start giving bartending classes.
I agree. I'll take one.
I mean, I was the #1 bartender in the state of Mississippi in the 90s.
That's right.
Even over the guys at the dock, even though they don't know that.
They don't know it.
I mean, my time at K Sarah,
let them know.
Shapley's and Nick's was Hall of Fame. Right? Yeah. I tried to get on at the dock, but it was, like somebody had to die.
Just straight up.
There was 4 of them in those bays or 5? I don't remember.
Why'd you leave?
But I mean,
why leave?
It worked out for me. I didn't have to work till 3 a.m.
That's a good
and
point.
Still made really, really good money. So, I mean, in 1996, when you could make hundreds of dollars a night, that was real money.
Yeah.
Okay. But now I don't know what at the dock they were making $1,000. Think about that. 1996 making $1,000 a night. I mean, now around the country in Vegas and South Beach and other places, that's happened. I mean, there were the bartenders at T-Bones in Augusta last week were making $1,000 a night.
Yeah.
But in 1996, I was like, this is real money. So, but Harrison and all those guys at the dock,
Crush.
they were making big money. Even on a Sunday.
I bet.
If you were open, I don't remember, was it 11 a.m.? Because you could get a cheeseburger by then. Yeah.
Did you get a beer?
So I'm thinking 11 a.m. If you even had the 11 to 4 p.m., 11 to 5 p.m. shift, because they went into the evening, but even if you had the daytime shift, you could make serious ducats.
Really?
Sunday at the dock at 2 o'clock, you couldn't
Yeah.
even move. But that was the most fun. Once you got out of the, oh my God, I've got to go till 3, and I got out of that quick.
Yeah.
To me, by 22, 23, I was like, dude, Sunday cheeseburger, ice cold beer, and go see, and people watching?
Right. The move.
Incredible. Incredible. These are funny texts on the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line. Somehow I have rubbed a couple of Ole Miss fans wrong and I haven't said anything other than I'm not telling them that John David Baker is awesome.
No. You can't.
Well, I mean, he's not.
Yeah, it's not fair.
I mean, he may be a good OC. He's going to be a good OC this year because Trinidad and Lacey.
Right.
But he's not a top 50 offensive coordinator. He's not. So, anyway.
Has he even coached enough to be considered?
No. I mean, he was in East Carolina for 5 minutes. He had one not good year, one. He's kind of like Levy. I mean, Levy at Oklahoma had one bad year and one good year.
Give him a head coaching position.
Well, they're not. Yeah. Look, man, Ole Miss, this is going to be interesting. This is an experiment too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing guaranteed. I mean, Pete's a good defensive coordinator. Great. There's a lot of good defensive coordinators, and there's hundreds over the last 30 years. Good DCs and OCs that were not head coaches.
Right.
Happens every year. Or Pete may be one of the ones that finds the path and is a good head coach. But it is total risk. I don't care if it's at Ole Miss, Georgia, A&M, Southern Cal. It's total risk. You don't know. Now, I would, at least Pete's got a ton of years as a DC at Ole Miss, Bama, and UT San Antonio. Whereas like Moorhead only had 2 years at Penn State and Levy only had 2 years at Oklahoma as an offensive. You would like to get up to that 4 to 6 year range of having that many years of being a play caller under your belt so that you really, have gone through the,
Yeah.
this works, this doesn't, that type of
prereq.
And Golding worked under Saban and Lane. That's pretty freaking awesome. Now, Levy did work under Lane. Venables, I don't count that. I mean, Venables is a nice coach. I know they made the playoff. They weren't that good. But whatever. That Oklahoma team never impressed me last year. I mean, 6th in defense, 66th in offense. They were god awful on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, the fact that they let Bama punk them at home in a college football playoff game, and then Bama the next week gets beat by 500 by Indiana. It's interesting to me. But I can't take away Venables won enough games, tripped over, did what he had to do.
My man's got an appearance on the record.
He's got a college football playoff appearance. Castiglione had already bid against himself and gave him this massive contract like Mitch Barnhart did with Mark Stoops. And,
love that.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like athletic directors bidding against themselves and dealing with other people's money and just blowing the hell out of it.
We mentioned my methods of
We're going to
reconciliation.
give Brent Venables a $58 million contract.
How do they reconcile stuff in their heads?
I think when it's OPM, it's a different deal.
Yeah.
When it's other people's money, it's a different deal.
No doubt. Swipe it and spend it and let's go.
Oh, I wanted to get into this audio. Do you have the burn? I don't think we do. Should I just read the quote, or what do you think? Greg Byrne is trashing the SEC championship game. I love it. I think it's great. Let me see if I have. Do you want to try to do it?
I do.
All right. This could be a disaster, but I don't really. It's all right. I've got the quote right here, too. Greg Byrne, athletic director at Alabama. This surprises me about Greg, although he's now a veteran. Is he the? I have to go over that later. Greg Byrne talking about the SEC championship game in football.
Created with the conference championship games, they probably will have to agree on something.
Let me propose something, just as a hypothetical. The SEC moves to eliminate this. Let's say 27 is the last year. I'm pulling at it here. This has got to be a sigh of relief for most other conferences because they would willingly and happily eliminate their conference championship games.
I mean, think about what it put the ACC through this year.
Yes. What is that? An 80% reduction of making fun of the ACC? Just eliminating the conference championship game race. That was the crux of our criticism.
If you're the ACC, sitting there at the end of that night as Duke beats Virginia, handing, like if you're Jim Phillips, you were handing a trophy to Manny Diaz, and going, "Oh crap, did I just watch my league get eliminated from the playoff?" Because they didn't know at that point that Notre Dame or that Miami's going to get in over Notre Dame.
Sure. Think about the value of. We need an English soccer alert on this show because we comp it so often. But by eliminating conference championship, something very British sounding. I
don't know what the BBC's Premier League coverage theme is.
I'm drinking from a Tervis, but I'll raise my pinky.
All right, so let me read the quote. I don't know what that was. This is Greg Byrne on the SEC championship game. And I quote, "I think the ship has sailed. I don't like the idea of it going away, but I think it's reality with an expanded playoff." That's a great question. How do you do it if you need more weeks when you're going to go from 12 teams to 16? I guess you could go to 24, but I think it's going to be 16. I know the Big Ten wants 24. I think they're just positioning them. Everybody's looking out for themselves as they should, and the SEC wants 16. So, but I think they'll land on 16, but who knows? I don't think they're as fractured as some people think. Just because you disagree doesn't mean like you're not on the same page totally. Right. And so I think that the leagues have open correspondence, if not daily, weekly, monthly, on where this thing is going. But that's what Greg Byrne said again. And I quote, "I think the ship has sailed. I don't like the idea of it going away, but I think it's reality with an expanded playoff." What are your thoughts on that on the Dancing Rabbit golf text line? 601-885-3776.
Are you for or against?
I don't care. Yeah. As long as we get good football games, I don't care. If we've got to add a round, which we do if we expand, depending on how much, then I'm fine with however they want to frame this thing up if they want to start it earlier.
Right.
In December.
Yeah, start it earlier.
Right.
Yeah, we're not going to end it later.
Well, I think we could expand on both ends, but I do think that they will start it earlier. Look, there's no way to totally navigate the NFL. Look what we ran into last year. The NFL is always going to outdraw. It doesn't matter. They play games on Mondays at 3:00 in the last couple of years because of different circumstances, and 22 million people are white. It can be Jacksonville against the Browns. I love you, Chuck Mullins. It can be Jacksonville against the Browns at 3:00 on a Monday. It's going to crush, and it can be on Netflix or Amazon, and it's going to crush. It doesn't matter. Hell, these European games that people get up for at 8 a.m. in the morning to start watching and drinking Tito's Bloody Marys, those knock down great ratings. But the college football playoff is doing good and healthy, and we had record college basketball stuff too. Again, people are not going to stop consuming live sports. They're not
happening.
And that's why the basketball numbers and March Madness and even some of the conferences are so good. And that's why college football last year, both the regular season and see, a lot of the media makes things up. People aren't going to watch Saturdays. Yeah, they are. They're going to get up and turn on Game Day and Saban.
Yeah.
And then they're going to allow Game Day to take them in to the games. Because people, you remember, old mad white guy? Starting 3 years ago, said, "Well, I'm not going to watch it. They're going to pay players." And yet I've got record ratings from 2025 fall on Saturdays.
Left and right.
Okay, you don't watch it. Nobody cares.
Somebody did.
Right? You can be the old man yelling at the clouds. That's fine. Record numbers every week. And then Saban's even added to the game day lore because he's the best. I can't believe this. This kind of ticks you off if you're just regular like me. He's the best coach in the history of college football, and now he's the best studio guy in the history of college football. Period. When he talks, for me, it's background music, totally. And I don't care what Desmond's saying, and really don't care what McAfee's saying. And Herb Street's good at times when he's not whining or telling us how difficult his life is, making $12 million a year. But, I mean, does anybody have affluenza like Kirk Herbstreit? Well, all of Hollywood. But anyway, the point is, Saban, I'll stop. And I'm like, he will drop things in a simplistic way on a game that they are previewing, and you're like, oh, wow, that's going to be the sizzle in the game because he's that good. He's been watching film. He talks to both coaches all week, or not all week, for 10 minutes. And then he's like, here's the key to this game. That makes you stop if you're making your rotel, if you got something on the grill, you're getting your stuff packed for your tailgate to go out to the Grove or the Junction. Saban all of a sudden talks LSU Ole Miss September 19th. You're like, what's he going to say here?
It's almost like when he speaks, period, you listen.
How about Saban? Because I assume game day will be there, okay? How about Saban knowing Pete Golding, because Pete's coached for him, and Lane, because Lane's coached for him, previewing the LSU at Ole Miss game? Not all week. He'll get on with McAfee on Friday, and then on Saturday morning when they let him have the mic, boom.
Ooh.
He knows Pete Golding. He knows Lane Kiffin. This is where the power with ESPN landed him, and why it makes SEC football even better with them housing everything under the Disney networks of ESPN, ABC, and the SEC network, is the fact that that Kirby, Lane, Pete Golding, Sark, and I'm sure I'm missing some others, coached under Saban.
Yeah, it adds more and more and more to it.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
This game has
You're crazy.
Wrinkles.
What?
It's got so many wrinkles in this game.
I know.
I love it.
So many storylines.
Yeah, that's right.
Dozens. Not just like 4 or 5. Lane and Lane's drama. Lane and Lane's success. Lane and the fact that he is now the voice of college football, along with Saban, like you said this morning. He is the voice of the active coaches.
Right.
Saban is the voice of college football.
Right.
Who knew that it would be Saban and Kiffin tied as the voice of college football? We're powered by Eye Care Professionals. If you need cataract surgery, you want to call Eye Care Professionals and Dr. Kirk Jeffrey's team today. 2 locations on Lakeland Drive. Eye Care Professionals.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Out Warning.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
Clown acts. We ain't going nowhere.
I'll believe in Auburn and love it. War Eagle.
We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I'm your host, Bo Bounds, and the show is brought to you by Grit Fitness and Training Facility behind Ergon on Lakeland Drive. That's where Connor Griffin, Jake Mangum, JT Ginn, Tanner Allen, among others, train. Grit, also head of baseball ops, Jay Powell, first-round pick out of Mississippi State, and World Series winner for the Florida Marlins, now MSU baseball color analyst. You can listen to Mississippi State baseball on 105.9 The Zone ESPN. That's right. Isn't that cool? Yep. It was really cool before the 6-game stretch, but it'll be cool again. We'll see what happens. I mean, Friday night is huge, so that'll be a lot of anticipation and craziness, and some of you people will be losing your minds on every pitch. I will be watching it, but I will not be losing my mind on every pitch. So the show is brought to you by our friend Jake Manning. Jake Manning. Mississippi Smart Homes. Check out his website right now. So cool. mssmarthomes.com. We have the Sonos surround sound system in our TV, living area, kitchen area in the house, and then my man cave too. mssmarthomes.com. Jake Manning, mssmarthomes.com. I think he majored in biomedical engineering at MSU, which is ridiculous. I can't even spell that, and they didn't allow me into any of the buildings unless I was interviewing the dean of the Bagley College of Engineering, and Dr. Dave Ford. But yeah, shout out to Jake Manning. He'll join us in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Looking forward to that. And also, you know, the studio is powered by Fuse.cloud, and so our fiber is powered by Fuse.cloud, and we love it. You love it, and you got to check out Fuse.cloud today. They are the best when it comes to managing IT and business and fiber and all the cool things that we do. So
they definitely get you lit.
They get you lit. They get this studio lit. No, I like that. I'll have to tell Gary that. He'll love that. They'll use that on their website. A quote from Jackson Meadows. Fuse.cloud gets you lit.
I'm in.
The fiber in this studio and the Wi-Fi and all that is powered by Fuse. F-U-S-E, Fuse.cloud. What else do we have? Oh, I just saw a post by Juniker Jewelry Store. Shout out to them. Beautiful rings and necklaces and earrings. Juniker Jewelry Store, Madison. I want to welcome you in. A couple different ways that you can get in touch with us. Dancing Rabbit Golf text line is 601-885-3776. 601-885-3776. You can find us on X at Bo Bounds. Tweet to us, follow us at Bo Bounds. And that's brought to you by Superior Foundation for all your foundation repairs and French drains and driveway work. Superior.ms. And then the Michelob Ultra caller line is 601-707-3750. Jake Manning, mssmarthomes.com at 9:15. And Chris Malloy, the head golf coach at Ole Miss, will join us at 9:30 on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Let's see. We've got some Land Rebel and another Rebel are upset that I'm not saying that John David Baker's an amazing offensive coordinator. Well, he may be. Today, he doesn't have that much experience, and he was solid. That's it. And now, again, Trinidad and Lacey and that Ole Miss defense could definitely elevate him this year. That's what you would like to see. And that happens there's nothing wrong. When I say that happens at Georgia or LSU. I mean, Lane wants Baker to elevate Levitt and the offense. Yeah. Levy's hoping that Zach Arnett elevates Camario Taylor and Levy so that he can keep his job. So this happens all the time. In the NFL, it does too. I mean, the Seahawks, why'd they win the Super Bowl? Defense.
Sam Darnold.
Absolutely not. Okay? Absolutely not. So how many times did the Seahawks give them the ball until they finally scored? But it was I don't want to score game between the Seahawks and the Patriots. But my point is, I think like a lot's riding on Baker as Lane tries to get this LSU offense up and running.
Right.
Okay. And man, can you imagine Zach Selman fired Zach Arnett to hire Jeff Levy? Can you imagine if Zach Arnett saves Jeff Levy's job as defensive coordinator? I mean, Arnett had no support.
None.
Okay. He got thrown into the fire because of extreme, just awful circumstances of Mike Leach dying after winning 9 games.
Hosed.
And now, can you imagine if Zach Arnett saves Jeff Levy's job and makes Zach Selman look better after this hire's been a disaster to date? Can you write that up? Zach Arnett was fired by Zach Selman. Zach Selman hired Jeff Levy. It's been a disaster. Zach Arnett's now your defensive coordinator at Mississippi State. If somehow he can even just have they're not going to be great, so stop that. Even if if he gets every ounce of what he needs out of that personnel and talent, and somehow they get over whatever that number is for Levy to keep his job, because it's basically on Arnett and Camario. And can you imagine if this all happens, what a story that is?
Oh, yeah. But there's a reason they call that a fairy tale.
Oh, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Dude, that was profound from you.
I mean, what are they?
I just want to say that was amazing.
Just not
I don't even know. I think I got when you said that, I think I got goosebumps.
Should have.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
If that's the dream scenario, at least.
Yeah. Dream. I like that. I'm really proud right now. You're framing. You just said that's a fairy tale if Arnett has a good defense and Levy keeps his job, and then you said dream scenario.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the reason I call it a fairy tale is because it is what it is, and it's not going to have a fairy tale ending.
You don't think so?
No, I don't know what the opposite. I don't know what a fairy tale is
So
without a fairy tale ending.
you don't believe if you had to bet whether it was $10 or $100 right now, you're not betting that Jeff Levy's the coach in 2027.
Not betting on a bottle of Jim Beam.
Okay. God. Just take a blowtorch to my knee. Oh, goodness. You know how we talked McDonald's earlier?
Hey.
And those chicken nuggets, it's like synthetic rubber.
No.
Real
chicken.
It's, oh, God, it's fake from Vietnam or something. I don't know. Anyway, we are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. If your business went down for 24 hours, what would it cost you? Fuse.cloud makes sure that doesn't happen. And they are powering the studio with fiber, which I love. Fuse, Fuse.cloud. Mississippi company. It's really an amazing story. I mean, they do business all over the state, but they do business all over the country. You know how the tech companies are. We need more of them. Yeah. Very proud of this one. Oh, well, there you go. I found my notes. Oh, we're electric. Jake Manning, mssmarthomes.com. Make your home smart. Plus, get the Sonos surround sound system. Jake Manning. Oh, man. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. We've got our friend Jake Manning on the show. He owns Mississippi Smart Homes, mssmarthomes.com. Go to the website, and you will love it. Jake's going to walk us through the main thing that they do, and then we'll talk about some other things. But you can watch the show on YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports, and we'll also have, coming up in about 15 minutes, Chris Malloy, head golf coach at Ole Miss. He coached Brooks Koepka at Florida State, good friends with Pete Golding, and he's been on the show before. He's had some number one teams in Oxford. That's going to be a ton of fun. So we'll talk football and golf with Chris Malloy. Jake Manning, mssmarthomes.com on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you, Bo?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Weather's been good.
Weather has been good. Got to enjoy it this weekend. Business partner, best friend, David Cuevas, he got engaged this weekend. So did it on campus up in Starkville. We have one of the baseball condos. So we had a pretty big weekend, pretty big weekend for the team at Mississippi Smart Homes.
Yeah. Well, y'all had a bigger weekend than the baseball team.
Unfortunately so, yeah.
mssmarthomes.com. All right. So what's the driving force? What's the number one thing y'all do at Mississippi Smart Homes?
Generally, it is security. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's concerned about cameras. Everybody's concerned about an alarm. If you don't have cameras, you're interested in adding them. Our base camera package is $1,500. It's a doorbell, 2 cameras.
That's worth it.
Everything's hardwired to power. We're crawling around in your attic. And that tends to be doorbell on the front, camera on the garage, camera on the backyard, back door. So if you got young kids, if you travel a lot, if you're thinking that you need your home to be a little bit
safer. If you go to
safer,
Oxford and Starkville 19 times a year.
Yeah, then having cameras on your home, once you get used to it, there really is no going back. Just checking when people are delivering packages or who's coming and going. You just kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
The other aspect of security is alarms. If you have a licensed monitored alarm system and you don't care who monitors it, I care. I would love to monitor your alarm. We're local, we're licensed, we do same-day support. So if you've got an alarm service, if you're annoyed with whoever's carrying it, if they're charging you too much.
If you can't ever get them
on the phone. That's the number one reason that people call us is, they've got a system, whether that's internet or cameras or whatever else, and just they can't get whoever installed it on the phone. And to this day, that is the number one reason that people call us.
All right, so security. All right, so cameras, doorbell camera, all that. You're traveling. Even if you've got travel ball, you got kids, you're running around, you're in and out of the house, you want security. So mssmarthomes.com for your house to be secure and safe.
Absolutely. And we do as well with that. We do smart locks. That's probably the most convenient thing we carry.
Yeah.
You got, teenage kids, you got people coming and going.
Because they got friends coming in and out.
And that's a lot of people might have a keypad lock, but the problem is once you give out the code, everybody knows what it is.
Sure.
And so a joke we have is that kids think we're cool, teenagers hate us. And it's because with the smart locks,
that's right.
With the smart locks, you can give everybody an individual code.
Right.
So what kid's opening what door at what time.
Ooh.
Yeah. See, Mike, my dad, he would have just been like, all right, curfew's 1. If you're not back at 1, your code doesn't work at 1. That's not my problem.
Right. I love that. That's Dr. Mike Manning with the Men's Clinic. All right, we're visiting with Jake Manning, mssmarthomes.com. If you want your home secured, all right, security.
That is
security,
the bread and butter.
Security.
Bread and butter of what we do.
I get it. People want. Look, I've had young kids. They're older now. I mean, you got so much going on. They're 4th graders, 6th graders, 9th grade. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
You're gone for big chunks of time. At times when they get old enough, at that 6th, 7th grade, they're at home by themselves. You want everything lined up, and you want to have it on your phone.
Well, we had a client
Right?
yeah, absolutely. Everything we do, you can touch, talk to, view it from your phone, see it anywhere in the world.
So if I'm going, my point is, if I'm at travel ball with my 5th grader and my 7th or 8th graders at home, I got it on my phone.
Yeah. And
that gives me peace of mind as a parent.
The most important thing about any camera system is strong notification controls. Because, if you're just getting abused on your camera system, what are you going to do? You're just going to turn it off.
Right.
And then it's not really doing its job. Yeah, you got cameras if you get broken into after the fact, but we want to have a proactive camera system. And that's one of the ways that Google has done a fantastic job. We carry the Google product line, and they are integrating their AI called Gemini into the cameras, and it is really cool.
That's awesome.
So, it always had facial detection, still does. Still will say Jake's at the door, random person's at the door, but now with the AI notifications, it's just a lot more meaningful. So it won't say person seen in the garage. It'll say person seen getting in a gray truck and leaving.
Got it. Okay.
And it really does make the cameras more useful. And we had a client just the other day that we did their house. They didn't want cameras. They had little tater tots. Well, she called us back. It's been like 3 years. She calls us back, says, hey, I need cameras. I need y'all to do them tomorrow. Yeah. I said, what's up? Do you have an incident we broken into? She's got 5 kids, one of which is 2, and the neighbor called. They live out in the boonies.
Right.
Neighbor called. Kid was on the pier, unattended, 2-year-old.
Goodness gracious.
And so I need camera. Whole house freaking out. Got to make sure that can't happen again.
Right.
And you pair good camera coverage with the Gemini notifications, and it'll say little Johnny walked out of the backyard towards the lake. Like, that's the notification that you'll get, not something seen in the backyard.
Right. Okay.
And so having those intelligent notifications is the most important thing with the camera system that you get.
All right. For our listeners, your security is powered by mssmarthomes.com. Jake Manning and the team. Your security, mssmarthomes.com. Wow. You framed that up well.
Yeah,
but now that I think about all the different things that you go through, especially with kids running in and out, you got dance, you got baseball, you got softball, you're just,
if you
and
have
you're going
a pool,
for big chunks of the day or night.
Yeah. If you have a pool and you don't have cameras.
Oh, good Lord.
You should. You should. Whether it's a kid wandering the neighborhood that just jumps your fence, or your kids have friends over, and it's just silly to have that kind of liability and not be protected.
mssmarthomes.com. Jake Manning.
And that's the number one thing that we're growing in right now that I wanted to mention today is commercial. If you've got a business, you need a strong IT partner, you're building a new building, you're updating your systems. That's just like we are, a one-stop shop for all things IT residential. Yeah. So too for commercial, from networking infrastructure to Wi-Fi to pulling cable to camera systems, access control, alarms.
So you'll do alarms and camera systems for a strip mall or a commercial business.
And that's
a restaurant.
Servicing the whole state, doing both residential and commercial. What we can really do for clients that are decision makers, that have a game day, that have a hunting camp, is provide one person who handles all of the things at all of the locations.
And it's
all straight from your phone. And it's the same system, and it works the same way, and it actually works every time.
All right. Jake Manning, mssmarthomes.com. That's incredible. So your security is powered by Mississippi Smart Homes and mssmarthomes.com. It's important. You need the doorbell camera. You need the other cameras around your house. You're in and out. You're traveling. Your Oxford Starkville travel ball, everything else that we do, the beach.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that if you do have a kid at home, you got access.
Yeah.
On your phone. Boom.
And see, that's why kids think we're cool, teenagers.
4th and 6th graders.
Yeah. 4th and 6th graders think it's cool. They're using the intercom. They're playing. High schoolers go, hey, Mom, this is weird. I don't like the cameras.
Your security is powered by mssmarthomes.com. Chris Malloy next. Oh, man, what a show.
We ain't going nowhere.
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. This is a perfect segment for us. This segment is brought to you by the super cool Peter Millar gear at the Rogue Men's Store. Luke Abney has Ole Miss and Hail State Peter Millar gear and just regular Peter Millar gear. So you can get the logos and all the cool pullovers and quarter zips and golf shirts and pants. Actually, I'm wearing Peter Millar shoes from the Rogue Men's Store. Didn't just remember that. I was early this morning. But this segment of golf and fun and football is powered by the Rogue Men's Store and all the super cool Peter Millar, Ole Miss, and Hail State gear they have. Plus, they're having a Brax trunk show tomorrow. Those pants are amazing. Brax at the Rogue Men's Store, I-55 North in Jackson. Spring Street Cigars is in the building too, and that's a beautiful cigar lounge and store. All right, we want to welcome in Chris Malloy, outstanding golf coach at Ole Miss. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Chris Malloy, it's been too long. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, I appreciate it. How you been? How's life?
It's good. We're, the tail end of our regular season, which, our world from, probably that first week in February, throughout the rest of the spring is just chaos. But it's good. That's the way you want it. You go from some downtime over the break, Christmas, holidays, and you kind of get bored and thinking about what's ahead of you, and then you go right into it, which again is controlled chaos, but we love it.
Well, you've had some great teams. Tell me about your team this year.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of a year, Bo. We came into the season, with basically the same team as we had from last year. 4 of the returning 5 from a team that almost won it all, and then got off to a great start in the fall, and then over the off season, had our number 1 player Michael Assasso go to live. So that was certainly a curveball no one saw coming. He's the first one that's ever left mid-year to go to live, and just a weird circumstance, with it, and something he had to do. So that was a major curveball that we weren't expecting. And then we've tried to find ourselves really, throughout this, whole spring and getting these guys to step up and maybe a face or two that wasn't planning on being in the lineup. Now they're in the spotlight and kind of trying to find our groove. And I really do feel that just over the past 2 weeks, we've started to find it just in time to get to postseason.
Oh, that's awesome. Chris Malloy, Ole Miss golf coach, good dude, joins us on the Out of Bounds show. He's been with us before. Chris was kind enough to join us live at Finch and Kelly on the square in Oxford. Several of my buddies are close to Chris and rave about him, and he's built a hell of a program at Ole Miss, and they're marching down the stretch here to see how it all plays out. He's probably losing his mind and kind enough to hang out with us for a few minutes today. You know what was cool last time you were on, Chris, is you talked about how, look, I have to recruit. I mean, this is we go and identify and try to get the best players we can on campus. But you also talked about how you wear a psychologist hat, that either all or majority of these guys have a swing coach. You're in the recruiting and psychologist game. Do you remember talking to me about that, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, there are some coaches that like to tinker with their guys' swings and do whatever. But my philosophy on the whole thing is, as you mentioned, they all have their own swing coaches. And if I'm recruiting a guy, that means he's a really good player. That means something's working. He already has a swing coach. So why why would I ever step in and screw that up? Something is working there, something that, a player that we've identified that we want in our program, has a good relationship with the swing coach. We don't want to mess with that, but golly, I mean, if I'd have known that I was going to be a college coach down the road, I would have gotten a psychology degree. I mean, it is way more babysitting and again, it's all sports stuff. I mean, and just how to deal with maybe a problem they're having with their family, with their parents, with their girlfriend.
Sure.
Who knows? And just helping them walk through the things completely outside of the golf course, and the golf realm. And, we had a young man, last week, had his first car accident, never had one before. And, we spent 2 days working through all that, right. And trying to figure that out. So he didn't overly panic about it and let that affect his preparation to go down to Mossy Oak, Mississippi State's tournament this, past couple of days. That was the biggest part of my Thursday, Friday of last week. So it had nothing to do with golf.
And you just won that tournament.
We did. Yeah. We were fortunate enough to play well and hold on down the stretch. And we were co-champions with Mississippi State. So it was a great week.
Wow. How about that course, Chris?
Yeah, they went through and redid all the greens, changed a couple of the holes. They made some changes, and it was a great test of golf. The wind kicked up for us, which was great. It was everything we wanted. Really hard greens. They had to think. And that's what you want. Coming down the stretch, trying to get ready, as I mentioned, for postseason. You're going up against Vanderbilt, who's top 10 team. Mississippi State at their home place, and Dusty has a great squad. Alabama was over there, so really exposed some guys, and you had to step up and hit some pretty big time shots. Throughout the Monday and Tuesday, and it was a great test. It was awesome.
You mentioned your psychology hat. We're visiting with Chris Malloy's built a hell of a golf program in Oxford at Ole Miss. Let's just take the last 2 to 4. You don't have to say who, okay? But the last 2 to 4 years, you've had one of your better players, and all of a sudden he's freaking out over something, just whatever you mentioned, any number of things in life. When you put and you're going into a tournament, and you've got to calm him down, get him focused on the task at hand. Walk me through that, Chris.
Well, I think it depends on the person. That's the biggest part of it. You can't treat all these guys the same. They all react so differently. And I'll take 2 guys that are brothers, Cohen and Collins Trolio. And their dad's BJ Trolio, who's a longtime teacher at Waverly, and they're brothers raised under the same roof. They couldn't be any more different human beings. I mean. Right. So the way that I approach Cohen has got to be the exact opposite of how I would approach Collins. So, the point is knowing the player is going to determine, how you approach any of those things. And some guys, you can, if you see them freaking out about, something, I mean, hey mate, you might need to give them a hug. Some guys you need to jump down their throat and kind of shock the system to reset everything. And I think it's probably not the answer you're looking for, but I think a lot of times you just got to laugh at them, and you got to get them to laugh at themselves.
Sure.
And understand whatever they're dealing with, whether it's off the course or especially with golf swing. That, I mean, this isn't life or death, and it's really not even a hard reset. Right? It's a golf swing. Like we can go back and look at videos. As far as you feel you are away from a good golf swing right now, because I've been there. I mean, we've all been there. You're not that far. You swing a golf club hundreds of thousands of times over your life. Plenty of good swings. It didn't just leave you. So, it's just basically a reset of, psychological reset. And somewhere along the lines, you got to thinking and approaching the golf swing a little bit differently. So let's get back hard reset and go back to some basics. And, 9 times out of 10, it works. It may take, a little bit longer than they want, but, 9 times out of 10, they're able to get back on track.
Yeah. Chris Malloy, Ole Miss golf coach, on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by the super cool Peter Millar gear at the Rogue Men's Store in Jackson. Why is Keith Carter such an awesome athletic director, Chris?
He's incredible. I've been lucky enough to have some really good ones. But he's one of us. I mean, somebody asked, it's funny you say that. Somebody asked me that a couple of weeks back, and he gets it. And I think a lot of that is, he was a former student athlete, so he understands that side of it. But he doesn't micromanage. He trusts, that the coaches are going to do, what they need to be doing. If we have a problem, I mean, he's as approachable of a human, and especially an administrator, athletic director as you can get. Sometimes I don't know. I mean, maybe I was younger. I was younger, back at the start of my career, but it was almost, other athletic directors, like you had to be really buttoned up, or you were going into the principal's office, or whatever.
Right.
I mean, it's a terrible terminology. But with Keith, if I have any issues or there's something I need to get done or any of that, I truly feel I'm going into
a partner,
a friend's office. Yeah, a partner. I mean, somebody that I know. He's not going to jump to say no or jump. I mean, he's going to try to help me in any way that he can. So it's just, I couldn't think, and I'm not saying it because he's my boss. I know everyone thinks that, but I couldn't think of a better athletic director. Again, he's obviously, has to look at it from a business sense. We all know that. So he has to come at it from that side. But again, he's going to approach every situation with, okay, how can I help my head coach? How can I help my student athlete? Because he was a student athlete. And he just, the simple way to put it, Bo, he gets it.
Right. You mentioned VJ Trolio and his sons. He's such a good, how good a guy? How good at, considering like how respected he is and the people that he has coached and worked with in golf, and yet he's just a dude. How good a guy is VJ Trolio?
You just said it, and he's the best. You don't get a better human than VJ, and smart. I mean, he's about as smart as they get as well. Certainly knows the golf swing, but it's just, I mean, the texts that I get from him, the phone calls I get from him, and always have. This is before his two sons were playing on my team. The conversations that we have. Oh, he's one of one. It's tough to get any better than VJ.
Yeah, Chris Malloy on the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. All right, one of your when you were at Florida State, we talked about this last time, but now it's even cooler, and it was cool then. But you were part of the coaching staff that coached and recruited Brooks Koepka, 5-time major winner, and now he went to live, and now he's back. How excited are you for any? And he shot 5 under at Augusta, so he's starting to play some good golf. How excited are you that Brooks is back on the PGA Tour and that he had a pretty damn good weekend in Augusta, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, even you just saying that, I got goosebumps. That probably says it all. He's back where he belongs. He needs to be on the stage, like he and guys like John Rahm. They need those guys back. And so it's so good to see him back in what I'd say is his element. I remember sitting there we were at the U.S. Open at Oakmont this past summer, and we had Cam Tankersley and Michael Assassa were playing, so they're current players. So we were doing practice rounds with them, and then I went over, and Daniel Berger and Brooks, were in another practice round. So, former players, like you mentioned, at Florida State. So spent 9 holes one of the days there, and there's the most I've seen them open up, especially about the whole thing, in a while. And one of the comments he made to me was, and we were walking around with my former boss, the Florida State coach. He said, "Man, your golf game's good." He goes, "I mean, it's not good." He's arguing with me, which is typical Brooks. And I said, "No, it really is good. I'm not saying this to just make you feel good. Like, it's good. And I'm watching this." And he goes, "It's not." He goes, "How am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to be? I'm a part-time golfer." And he made that comment about 3 times. Like, this is BS. I'm like, I can't compete. I'm a part-time golfer. And he's kind of right? I mean, because the way their schedule was, and I think they've gotten more tournaments now and all that, but it's tough for those guys to really get into a rhythm. You guys think about the guys on the PGA Tour. They can make up whatever their schedule is going into these majors. There's a PGA tournament every single week. So even if it's a smaller one, right? If it's Valero out in San Antonio, the week before,
sure.
If they want to do Houston, a couple weeks before, whatever the schedule is, they can do that, and they do that, and plan ahead. With Liv, I mean, hell, were they in Singapore, or they were in South Africa, whatever it was. That was like 3 weeks ago, and they have these breaks. Really a lot of times leading into these majors. So I do think he had a valid point, which I had never thought about, before he had mentioned that at Oakmont. So I think this will, it's going to continue to revitalize him.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a knock against Liv. Like, Michael Lasasso, I think that's a great avenue for him right now and some of these younger guys. But a guy like Brooks, no, it's to see him go out, as you mentioned, played pretty good. I think you're about to see him get in more of a rhythm.
I hope so,
and start to contend more and more in these majors.
I love it. I hope so. I like to see him back, and I saw him last week. We went to Augusta on Tuesday. It was magical. Took my son, and it was phenomenal. But
how good was that?
Chris, as much fun as he had, I had even more fun being able to tell you. He turned 21, so we went, and it was I'd been once, and this was my second time, his first. And you get this being in the game, he is eaten up with golf. I mean, he can't play enough, and loves following all the players and all the YouTube shows. So we had a good time.
So good. Well, what was his? I always like to ask people, what was his one? I know he had multiple takeaways from it. What was the one thing that stood out to him from Augusta or that trip?
Undulations. The way the incline. Mm-hmm. You can't see, as you know, as many unbelievable golf courses as you've been on. TV is cool, but it doesn't do it justice as far as the super steep inclines and all the things that the players have to navigate. Right, Chris?
Oh, the 14th hole. Are you kidding me? Like, it's the green. I mean, it feels like it's 2 stories, above you. I mean, but that green is nuts. Like, the TV can never do the front of that green justice.
No, it's crazy. People are walking, I don't know, 50 feet from you, but they're like 20 feet above you. I mean, it's the craziest thing in the world. It's wild the way the course is. And then I think, this, Chris, because you deal with 20 and 21-year-olds all the time. I wanted him to pick up a little business stuff out of it. I was like, do you see the customer service and how they treat us, the patrons, and all these volunteers asking us if you have everything you need? It's incredible. All right, I want to wrap it up with this, Chris Malloy. You and Pete Golding are good friends, and he's I love his personality. He's been a hell of a defensive coordinator. Now he's got an amazing opportunity as the head football coach. What's he like as a dude, his personality, and as a friend, Chris?
He's incredible. And you just hit the nail on the head. He's a dude. And everything that you see, everything you think he would be, he is. And to go over and just, I mean, he's just as liable at 7:30 tonight for he and, Bentley to pop in and, into our living room. He lives, a few houses down. He's one of us, for sure. He's very genuine. We did that par 3 Masters, tournament, that I put together at the last second. I mean, I thought of like last Monday, put it together for last Wednesday. And I called him on Tuesday night. I said, I need you to come out. And it was kind of a spoof on the Masters par 3 stuff, but I said, I'm going to do a, honorary starting, group. It'll be, I'm thinking like you, Braden Thornberry, and then I'll figure it out. He's like, yeah, this is the night before. I know he's got stuff to do. I was like, can you do it? He goes, yeah, of course. Let me bring Trinidad.
Wow.
Okay, that'll be great. Yeah. I mean, so that's everything you need to know. He's willing to help any program. Again, it's just as good of a dude as you can be around. I don't care if you're at a rival school, you can't hate the guy.
Right.
Like it's not, if you knew him, it's impossible to hate him. And again, just like Levy, I mean, Levy's one of my good buddies too. Like, he's a great dude, and it's really cool to see both of those guys coaching, our two, big in-state schools. It's pretty refreshing time.
That's awesome. Chris Malloy, Ole Miss golf coach, as they march down the stretch to the postseason, coming out of the Mossy Oak golf tournament, and his team is catching fire, and he's excited. And Chris, hey man, thanks so much. We'll have to do this again soon, and we appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Chris. Chris Malloy, Ole Miss golf coach on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line, brought to you by the awesome, super cool Peter Millar gear at the Rogue Men's Store in Jackson. Got the Ole Miss gear, the Mississippi State gear, and then he's just got regular Peter Millar. And then tomorrow they've got a trunk show where you've got the Brax, BRAX, super cool pants. Dress them up, dress them down, super comfortable, different fits, styles. I love them. The Brax trunk show at the Rogue Men's Store tomorrow. Thanks to Chris Malloy. And thanks to Dole Bryan and Patrick Kelly for, hooking me up with Chris. It's amazing how many people I know that Chris, anyway, that's cool. He's friends with Pete Golding and Jeff Levy. Levy was there for 2 years under Lane. I'm sure they played golf together. Then Pete Golding lives right beside him at the Oxford Country Club. That was funny when Pete was talking about how players live in his neighborhood. Times have changed with players getting paid at Ole Miss and Georgia and Florida. It's wild, isn't it? All right, lunch today brought to you by the Blue Plate or Oyster Po' Boy, Martins and Livingston. We'll see you tomorrow live from Dancing Rabbit Golf Club.